Here is a brief message from our sponsor before the video begins. Have you ever felt like some videos are just clickbaits? Well, now we have a solution to that. We have the clickbait alarm, available in many shapes and sizes. Here is our original model in action.
Clickbait! 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 Where happened to your energy?
I eat pears. I fell down the stairs. I hate when nobody shares. Nipple hairs.
Thank you for listening to our sponsor's important message. Now, time for our featured presentation. Hey guys, so this is not like my other videos which were horrible and didn't get more than like 15 views. This is going to be a video where there's going to be gameplay playing in the background and my voice talking about a new role. This new role is Ziggs Bot Lane. Not necessarily a new role, but it's a new meta which just started pretty recently and is spreading at a pretty rapid pace. I'm not sure about other servers, but it's spreading pretty rapidly in NA, or at least in the bronze divisions of NA. So, at first I hated this meta, but after giving it a few tries, it's amazing. And I hated it at first because I had recently become a Ziggs main, and no one knew how to play him, no one played him. So it made it so easy to play him, because no one knew how to play against him, no one knew how to counter him. And people always underestimate his damage because of that, and just walked right into his E, which is called Explosive Minefield. That's the ability where he throws or scatters a cluster of proximity mines or mini bombs everywhere. Now, for some background on Ziggs, he's a mage, which is weird for an up-and-coming ADC. He uses mana like every other mage, and his weird riot nickname is Hexplosives Expert. Could have been cooler if they made a Hexplosives Hexpert, but whatever. He was widely viewed as boring and simple at his time of release in 2012, which is like 5 years ago. And then people realized how unique and amazing he was, I guess, and of course his resemblance to the god Teemo. And that was until like the craze around every new champion died down. He was completely forgotten after that. No one played him. He was just, no one cared about him. And then where it came patch 6.24, which is like I think a month ago, or like maybe 2 months ago, that's where they fucked up the rift, where like they changed up the jungle, they nerfed some jungles, they buffed others, and made the jungle like focus around AoE people. And that's when they gave his W Satchel Charge, the ability to demolish turrets until under 25 to 35% health. But even that didn't give him that much popularity, and he was still disregarded until some idiot, some genius, sorry, had the idea to introduce ADC Ziggs. He was then picked up by famous YouTubers and quickly turned into part of the meta, and now I'm talking about him. So, I think the only problem right now is calling him ADC Ziggs, because he will always and forever will be an AP champion, and which makes him an APC. And he can throw the team off balance, like if the team needs an ADC and you play an APC, then it's just going to be off balance. So, Ziggs ADC, Ziggs Bot, it's all focused around having a cooperative team or just a carry like the Yi in my gameplay. Also, this Ziggs bot, for some reason, I say cooperative team, and it should not be working in League because you know how toxic and uncooperative League players can be. But somehow it's working out, so let's just say the community might be improving. So let's start this whole guide off with the Ziggs kit. Ziggs' kit. The main thing that allows him to be his ADC, in my opinion, is probably his passive, Short Fuse. His basic attacks would periodically deal more damage, like 20 to 160 based on level. Oh yeah, and it's bonus magic damage, so it's AD plus AP. And that damage is doubled against enemy structures, including turrets, inhibs, and nexus. The nexus, not nexuses. There's not more than one. I mean, there is, but not more than one that you can target. And its cooldown is reduced by a few seconds whenever Ziggs uses an ability like the Q, W, E, or R. This is probably one of the best parts of his kit, possibly even the thing that allows him to be a bot laner. This is basically an auto attack buff that can gravely increase the damage. Think of it as Jin's 4th shot, for example, but AP, and it doesn't require you to play a dumb champion. It's extremely stick-like and can only count to 4. Ziggs' Q is Bouncing Bomb. It's where he throws that cancerous little bouncing ball to a target area. It bounces up to like 2 times, and the distance of each bounce is dependent on how far the bombs are originally thrown. So let's say you threw at the max range. The bounces, like the amount of time the bomb will be in the air between each bounce, will be larger than if you threw it right next to yourself. If you threw it right next to yourself, it would just be bouncing in the same spot, like possibly sandboxing in the same spot. I don't know if there's an example of this in the gameplay, but there might be. If the bomb comes near an enemy or reaches the end of a trajectory, it explodes, dealing magic damage to all nearby enemies. So it's a really small AoE. So if everyone's like grouped up, then that Q can possibly damage all of them. And you can also use it like Jinx's ult, like if you miss it completely and there's a dumb support just standing there, doesn't move out of the way, and the AC is like trying to get shielded by the support. It hits the support, and AoE damage can kill the ADC if they're low enough. It's like that, the Q. So let's see. This is probably the most iconic ability in this kit because it's one of the main damage dealers and the first ability to have a bouncing mechanism, not like Sivir's what's it, the W? I think it's the W, or the E, whereas everything like bounces around between the targets. But this is like one of the first abilities to like have bouncing in its animation, where it can possibly bounce over your target. Like, oh my god, when you try to clear minion waves and you misclick the Q, the most tilting thing is when your Ziggs Q bounces right over those minions and just explodes uselessly. Just try not to get tilted by that. So, and like every skill shot, if it hits someone before reaching max range, it damages them. And the best part is, sometimes it even goes beyond the max range because of the bouncing capability. So going on to his next ability, Ziggs' W, it's Satchel Charge. As shown throughout the video, it's the ability where he throws that weird small rectangular prism or red box or whatever. And it's called a Explosive Charge by Riot. And just sits there until you recast it or the timer runs out. The timer is 4 seconds, I believe, and either way, when recasted or when the timer runs out, it deals a small amount of damage, like extremely little. Actually, it's not that little, like I think like 70, 80 damage, but it's pretty little compared to other abilities, and late game it's going to be nothing. It damages all the enemies in that small circle around the box, and it knocks them away from the charge, kind of like the blast cone. Except these W's can be anywhere on the map, not just those stupid little corners in the jungle. And it doesn't look like a red tit. Like, they should really change how the blast cone looks. It looks hideous, and it does damage, so unlike a blast cone. Also, like, unlike the blast cones, you can't troll your enemies, which is a downer, because I love trolling. Also, the blast cone and the jungle are probably based off of Ziggs W, in my opinion, because of how similarly they work. Because of how similar they are, you can even use the Satchel Charge W to counter an enemy using the blast cone. So let's say someone like autos the blast cone and tries to go over a wall. You can W like in the direction that they using blast cone to, and if you time it perfectly, it can cancel their blast cone. And let's go to the next ability. Oh wait, no, not yet. I forgot to mention. The W, like I said before, can one-shot turrets under a low amount of health, which makes him an amazing siege champion, and probably why he easily became ADC, because ADCs need to split push and take down turrets easily if they're useless to the team. But he's never going to be useless because of his AoE damage and his targeting capabilities and his ult of how it takes up the whole lane, so you can easily help the team during a team fight. So let's go to his next ability, Explosive Minefield, which I mentioned earlier, the cancerous little balls on the floor. That's Ziggs' E. It's the most cancerous and most useful ability on his kit. And it's a cluster of proximity mines at the like wherever you cast it, and it lasts up to 10 seconds, just sits there, and it's not like the proximity mines like let's say GTA 5. Those proximity mines, oh my god, especially when people put them right outside the entrances of Los Santos Customs. They're like they sit there and you go close to them and they explode. But these proximity mines are not even proximity mines at this point. They're just like little traps. You step on them and they damage you and slow you. But it seems pretty easy because you don't have to use, if you don't walk on them then they don't damage you, right? But his casting capability allows him to put it right where you stand. So you could be stuck in the middle of the circle of bombs and you're gonna have to walk through it to get out, which is gonna be a pain in the ass because you're gonna be slowed non-stop and taking damage. You can just catch up to you and just kill you. And like I just said, the slow allows him to make desperate getaways, so he could be low, you're trying to chase him, he just sits down the E and runs off. You get slowed and you take damage, so you just give up because he's already like half the map away. And then the last ability, some consider it a global, but it's not that big of a range. It's like possibly maybe like up to inner turrets at like max level. I'm not sure. I'm probably wrong. It's also the ability that I'm probably gonna be messing up hundreds of times. Well, not hundreds, a lot of times in this video. And the ability that I'm pretty sure many have used it for the Allahu Akbar memes. So the ult is called Mega Inferno Bomb. So like from the name, you can already tell it's gonna be great. So let's see the description. Ziggs deploys his ultimate creation, the Mega Inferno Bomb, hurling it to the target area, and dealing magic damage to all enemies caught in the blast. Increased by 50% against enemies in the epicenter. So it's like two circles, like the Pantheon ult. The outer circle does damage, but there's the inner circle. It does the most damage. It's like, I think, 150% more. I mean, yeah, it's 50% more than the outer range. So, I want to play ADC Ziggs. I want to play ADC Ziggs. No, Ziggs Bot sucks. Well, who gives a shit what this guy thinks? Let's show him that Ziggs Bot is the best bot.
Kill yourself!
Now that he's out of the way, let's go back to your featured presentation. Let's go back to the main topic of why ADC Ziggs or Ziggs Bot Lane works so well. His Q and E do amazing damage, and the E slows down enemies, and the range of those abilities make up for his pretty small auto attack range based to other ADCs. Also, since he's AP, you kind of have a whole different advantage in the AD focus lane, bot lane. He's also one of the best seed champions in League, or Rise trying to make him the best seed champion in League. I mean, he's not that great compared to like a really fed Nasus who can just one-shot turrets, or those cancerous champions that can go like 1 million attack speed. His W provides utility to isolate targets or to just escape, both of which are needed by ADCs, obviously, and his E's slow allows him to make distance and get back to the back line if caught out, which is an important part of being ADC. You have to be the backline, and if someone tries to get to you, you can just use that E and W and just get out of there. His ult can be used to pick up a few easy kills. So like, say you're not doing that well as ADC, just ult to a lane and help your lane, help that lane get better, and you can pick up an easy kill. And his constant damage makes him ideal for the role of ADC, because even if your abilities could be on cooldown, his short fuse allows him to do damage, and his auto damage is not that bad. And his W, you can make distance while um, getting your cooldowns back up. So going to the abilities that you should build on Ziggs, there's Morellonomicon, Lichbane, Void Staff, Rabadons, Rylai's, and maybe Archangels. And you could, when you start, like when you spawn in, you should most likely start with a Dorn's Ring, a Ward, and 2 pots. You could also go to different amount of Dorn's Ring based on your cooldown and mana that you need. Also, when you finish Morello, just rush Lichbane because the extra damage after casting abilities, that's really good. Coupled with your passive, which is short fuse, that's a lot of damage right there. And Void Staff and Rabadons are basic AP items. You could go for Archangels there too if you want extra AP, or Rylai's because of its ability to slow champions, and coupled with the E, it's a really easy way to troll the enemy team. Leandri's Torment is not like that great first kit, but it can still be used because of that burn damage. Because on Ziggs ADC and mostly just Ziggs in general, you're supposed to go Thunderlord's Decree. And if you don't have Deathfire's Touch, which you're not supposed to have, then you don't have the burn damage, and Leandri's Torment makes up for that. Some people don't appreciate Ziggs Bot because I guess his 1v1 potential might be boring, repetitive, and basic. But let's show those people what exactly makes Ziggs the best bot laner by taking them into a 1v1 match and shitting on them. Like so.
1v1 battle! 1v1 battle!
Who's gonna win?
Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.